Tonight on Denver7 News at 6.
It's extremely frustrating.
We asked the state why it's taking so long to get seniors vaccinated.
You don't know whether you're in the system or not.
Weekend cold makes for weekday problems.
A conversation on equity in schools.
What are we doing that says to those kids they matter?
A Colorado Republican suggests we stop the count after election night.
We need to come together, Republicans and Democrats, and figure out what can we do to improve our confidence in our elections.
And what's in a name? Frustration, apparently.
You don't want to break the law to get your name changed?
Not really, no.
Good evening. Awfully glad you're with us tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
Good evening. I'm Ann Trujillo. The winter storm battering the South has made its impact felt here. A COVID vaccine hub that distributes doses to Colorado and other states has been knocked out of commission. That hub is in Memphis, the home of FedEx.
It's too early to say how long this will delay our next shipment of 133,000 doses. So for now, the governor's office says it's making adjustments so people don't have to change their appointments.
Which brings us to our next story, the lack of appointments for Coloradans 70 and up. Ivan Rodriguez has more.
Michael Edzinga and his wife hardly remember what it's like to gather with loved ones.
We haven't been together with friends since last February.
Both Mike and his wife are 73 and have been trying to get their COVID-19 shot since early January, signing up on half a dozen sites.
Kaiser, Centura, Health One, Safeway, King Soopers, Walgreens, Walmart.
And since then, they've heard nothing back.
It's extremely frustrating because you don't know whether you're in the system or not. And you're constantly waiting, and even though you're checking back, it doesn't really tell you whether you're on their system or not.
But his frustrations finally came to an end Tuesday when he logged on to Walgreens and appointments were available.
I thought I was going to pass out. I was so happy. We finally got in there and got them scheduled, and we have it for this Thursday and Friday, so we're really happy about that.
As we enter the second half of February, the state's goal is still to vaccinate at least 70% of people 70 or older by the end of the month.
I really hope that especially if people 70 and up, it's 80% or 90%. And look, I'm sure you'll find, some 75-year-old somewhere that for whatever reason wasn't able to get it till the first week in March. But yes, generally speaking, if you're 70 and up and you want the vaccine, you'll have the opportunity to get it by the end of February.
The state health department says right now they're at 83% of their goal of vaccinating at least 70% of the state's most vulnerable population. For Michael, the best thing people can do is keep checking for appointments constantly.
That's what we did, and it just so happened that we got it today.
At the rate this group is getting vaccinated, there's hope everyone who wants a shot will be able to receive one. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver7.
Now to Colorado weather and the snow expected tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson joins us tonight at 6. Mike?
I have good news, and that is that we have a different air mass coming into Colorado, and it won't be as cold. Check out this morning. 25 below at Sterling, 29 below at Lamar, and 1 below at Denver. Now we have Pacific air coming in. That means milder temperatures, but it also means Pacific moisture. And we have winter weather advisories and avalanche warnings for the central and southwest mountains. And along the Front Range, already seeing some light snow, Larimer County, Boulder County, into parts of Weld County. You can see that little band up there by Greeley, and a few more just down to the southwest of Denver. That's going to gradually expand and intensify a little bit. It's not going to be a major storm, but not as cold tonight. We'll get a few inches of snow in the mountains, snow in Denver by morning, and then we have a few inches on the way for Wednesday into Thursday, but much milder air is on the way for the weekend and next week. I'll have details on that in a few minutes.
Certainly that cold we just endured did a number on businesses. Some no doubt saw fewer customers. Welton Street Cafe in 5 Points is closed because of frozen pipes. The restaurant is hoping to reopen tomorrow.
Northfield High School will be closed for the rest of the week because of a pipe burst. Drywall is going to need to be torn out to prevent mold. The students are not likely to return until Monday and will learn remotely instead.
Douglas County Schools will vote tonight on creating a new equity policy. The board's goal is to even the odds among students, especially when it comes to racial or socioeconomic disparities. The board has not said specifically how it intends to turn idea into action. And Douglas County Schools said it was too busy planning for tonight's meeting to sit down for an interview.
So we found our own expert. Dr. Darlene Sampson is an equity specialist coordinator in the Western Educational Equity Assistance Center. So she's the person you're to call when you're ready to make a change. So we asked her, where do you start?
Number one, you've got to understand what equality and equity is, because they're two different things. And equality is often what we offer, and equity is far fleeting and hard to embed. So I want to know if you even know some of the language and understanding, because it is an embedded practice. And so therefore we can't say, oh, we'll start this tomorrow and they won't do anything again. It's not one of the initiatives on the shelf. It has a lot to do with whether or not you are going to embed this work and ingrain this work.
And Dr. Sampson cited schools not recognizing that students were without internet as a prime example of failing to meet kids where they are. In our words, not hers, every student is given a laptop. That's equality. Buying mobile hotspots for the students who don't have internet at home, that's equity.
Denver Public Schools will attempt to level the playing field by expanding summer school. The district is still collecting feedback and will release a final plan in April. President Biden's education plan sets aside $29 billion for tutoring and summer school.
We don't have the perfect solution for addressing the inequities this last year has exposed, but we know we won't get anywhere without talking about them.
So please share your thoughts on how school districts should address race, income inequality, gender, and more, anything else, with an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com. Colorado lawmakers returned to the state capitol today to open the legislative session, and among their top priorities, COVID relief, transportation, and establishing a state-run health care plan, better known as a public option.
I think, obviously working with our colleagues out in Washington, D.C., working with the Biden administration, there's a way to do this.
Public option are just two words that mean more government control. Government control of what? You.
You can find our previous coverage on public options on thedenverchannel.com. And the legislature resumes tomorrow, and we will be there.
State Senate Minority Whip Paul Lundeen has introduced a bill that would require all ballots to be counted by election night. Early results would also go by the wayside. In-person voting would be limited to Election Day and the 6 days prior. Secretary of State Jenna Griswold is not in favor. And after speaking with him today, we're not entirely sure Lundeen is either.
The bill I'm bringing is a beginning of a conversation about what can we do here in Colorado. And Colorado, by many states, is seen to be the gold standard in election integrity. What can we do to make it even better? If it's the gold standard now, how do we make it the Bitcoin standard, perhaps, is what we should be thinking about.
A conversation about changes to our election model should include our office, which has the nation's experts on administering elections. And we were not approached by the representative to talk about this piece of legislation. We're always open to having conversations about how to make our elections better. But that means increasing access, improving security, not making it harder for Coloradans to vote.
Also today, State Rep Donald Valdez called for an investigation into Ron Hanks' involvement in the events of January 6th. Hanks represents parts of Park and Fremont County in the Colorado House. He's proudly told his supporters about being in Washington for the president's rally, but to our knowledge, he did not enter the Capitol.
Colorado lawmakers will be joined by the Attorney General's office and the Polis administration in selecting an independent body to investigate the Colorado Supreme Court. Several high-ranking court officials, some of them now retired, are accused of paying hush money to cover up allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct. Chief Justice Brian Boatwright says he is fully on board with the investigation and is expected to address it later on this week.
City of Denver has cited 8 more businesses because employees were not wearing masks. Dealers Electric, General Air, and Toro Taxes were among the 8 to get a ticket. The city has cited 48 businesses and closed 4 of them this year alone.
And Colorado has come too far containing this virus to get complacent now. 660 cases and 74 deaths were confirmed by the state today. 440 people are in the hospital. That's down more than half from last month. The positivity rate right now is 4%.
Well, some welding equipment may have been to blame for this fire near Alameda in Monaco today. Fortunately, the home was still under construction, so nobody was hurt. Unfortunately, the roof did take quite a bit of damage.
Okay, a lot of women know getting your name changed can be a hassle even in the best of circumstances. In a pandemic, it's proven just about impossible. Here's Contact Denver7's JACLYN Allen.
For some people, a trip down the aisle,
Also means a much less romantic trip to the Social Security Administration for a name change.
I was hoping that I'd be able to drop off my documents.
This Lakewood woman,
that is not an option,
asked us to protect her privacy because of her ex-husband. She happily remarried last summer and started the name change process.
I'm hoping that you guys can help.
Because of the pandemic, Social Security Administration offices are closed to most in-person visits, requiring people to mail their original marriage certificate and driver's license or passport. No copies allowed.
They said that it's about a 5-week turnaround time, which is a really long time to be without your driver's license. But mailing in those really important documents is a bad idea because I was afraid that they'd get lost in the mail.
We found it's a valid concern with recent reports of the Social Security Administration misplacing documents or sending them back to the wrong people. Agents telling people, just get a certified copy from the DMV.
She says they've been getting hundreds of phone calls.
Only one problem. Colorado's DMV has been inundated with requests, but the agency does not offer certified copies of Colorado driver's licenses.
Why did you reach out to Contact Denver7?
Maybe you guys could help or at least bring light to the problem.
Contact Denver7 did reach out to the Social Security Administration. A spokeswoman tells us they prioritize in-person visits for people who need updates because of income, resources, or medical care. Still, they said they will reach out about this specific case, but that doesn't answer the larger issue. After tying the knot, getting tied in red tape.
A lot of people have gotten married in the last year, and so if you wanted to change your name, you just can't.
For Contact Denver7, I'm JACLYN Allen.
Coming up,
it was kind of the rug being swept out from under you.
who made off with the musicians' merch?
That was our whole inventory.
Plus, COVID again ruins our Friday night plans.
It's not as cold out there, but now we have more snow on the way.
Get Denver 7 news updates on your Alexa-enabled device. Add the Denver 7 news skill in the Alexa app, then say, Alexa, what's my flash briefing?